Hey everyone, welcome back to the Inside AutoMind podcast, where we sit down with leaders who are reshaping the future of logistics, fulfillment, and supply chain. Today I'm joined by Brynden King, VP of Sales and Business Development at FFE Solutions, a 3PL that's helping brands grow through efficiency, adaptability, and a person-first approach. So he has a background that spans sales, logistics, and leadership. Brings a unique perspective on what it takes to deliver results in today's fast-changing fulfillment landscape. Brynden, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dustin. I'm excited to be here.
So let's get a little into about you and your journey. We'll start there. Can you walk us through your journey? How did you, first get started in logistics, and what led you to your role at FFE Solutions Group?
Yeah, so before I was at FFE, I was a English teacher in China. So I was over in China for about 6 months doing that. Was an English teacher it was first through third graders, and did that for a little bit. I was 20 at the time, so had no wife, no kids. Thought this is a good time to to move out and go abroad and do that. When I came back home, I was like, okay, now it's time to get a job. FFE was just starting. My dad is actually one of the founders of the company, and when I first joined, it was the spring of 2017, and FFE started in the fall of 2016. So it was still new, they had the idea, the concept, and we were in a smaller warehouse at the time. So at that time, we were in 12,000 square feet, looking to expand and grow. And I was like, all right, if this is something that we're really going to build out, I'm going to jump in early and be a part of it from pretty much the get-go. So then I started on just the hand assembly side, working out for final packouts, doing inspections. And then I went over into like the forklift side of it. So the shipping and receiving and the inventory side of the business, and did that for the first 6 months to a year. And then I took over the hand assembly side, and that was pretty much my main responsibility for about 6 years, was managing and controlling the hand assembly side of the business. So we had 3 crews starting at 6 a.m. and then our last crew started at 3:30, and that went all the way till about 11:30 midnight every night, and built out those crews. Each crew had around 10 to 15 people on it, and then during the peak season, we'd ramp up to around 60 to 70 crew members, and we were just doing hand assembly for a local essential oils business. And I was monitoring the teams doing that, built them out. We were doing anywhere between 25 to 30 million kits a year for them. Just a really big organization building that out. And then we had a couple other stick pack companies that we were doing the hand assembly for. So taking 30 sticks, putting them in a box, safety seal, lot code, expiration date on those, and shipping them out in boxes of 30. And did that for a couple stick pack brands in Utah, and then did hand assembly for a candy company. One of the main reasons why we won those accounts was our WMS system and our reporting. So we're able to control, all right, it came in on this day, it was received by this person. Now we can put in the system, all right, this is the lot code, this is the expiration date, and we can really tie that into that product. So we can digitally track any type of movement in the warehouse that it comes in. So if it's getting pulled to an order, we know exactly, hey, it's this product with this lot code and has this expiration date, and then it'll digitally track that. So if there's ever like a recall or a question on the lots, we have that record, just send it out. It's a nice clean cut for most of these brands. And we use the hand assembly side to really set up towards fulfillment. So that got us, so we own all of our racking, we own all of our conveyor belt systems. We now have 6 forklift trucks, 3 man-ups, and then we're hopefully by summer of next year, we'll also add in a turret as far as a forklift operating equipment and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into the sales side of it. Once we pivoted out of the kitting and the hand assembly side of the business, so we could really focus on the D2C fulfillment aspect of the 3PL world. Once the hand assembly side kind of pivoted over to the fulfillment side, we use all, like I said, all the hand assembly money just to really build out that D2C platform performance for our fulfillment clients now.
No, so it seems like you did a little of everything before you got to this position. But no, that's definitely cool. Kind of, I guess, what are some early lessons that you learned about fulfillment and customer experience that still guide you today that you took from all that?
Really discipline in paperwork, the actual tracking of everything, where it's like, yes, everything's all digitally tracked, but once it goes into the hands of the people, you got to make sure they're all disciplined in the sense of they're filling out the forms correctly, they're filling out all the paperwork so we can scan them in. That's kind of been one of the biggest things I've learned, but also in like the planning of labor. So we'd have some projects that, hey, yeah, one of the shifts can knock it out in 2 or 3 hours, but each shift has 12 people in it. So if they knock it out in 3 hours, that's 36 hours when I could have had 2 people knock it out in a day, maybe a day and 2 hours into the next shift. That's 26 hours. So I just saved 10 hours of labor on that project. So it's the balance of not just throwing people at it to get it finished and looking at it on the profitability of side, saying, all right, I could have spent 36 hours, but we spent 26 hours on it. So that just kind of helps with the margins of, hey, we quoted this out at 25 cents. That we're not going to get any more per unit on that. And when you start doing high volume where you're doing 100,000 kits, 500,000 kits, then those small little components, if you're off by 5 cents, you're now looking at a loss of anywhere between $5,000 to $20,000 on it. So it's just the monitoring of the labor and not just throwing at more people at it, but being strategic on how you do your kits. And yeah,
I think efficiency is a big thing
absolutely
for anyone. So I guess kind of going back to what you said earlier, you guys, I think you guys have scaled pretty quickly. So it's like, what is the biggest driver of that growth? Do you think is it the direct to consumer focusing on that, or what do you think was the biggest factor for you guys scaling so quick?
Yeah, I think we're lucky in the sense where the hand assembly really drove us to get to a spot where it would have been tough as just a normal D2C focusing on it, just in the fact of speed and the correct scaling of it. Because most softwares, you could, in the 3PL space, you could buy one that has, I mean, startup cost is usually pretty insane, but you won't use 80% of its actual capabilities because you're not doing the volume of it. Even if you are doing 10,000 orders a week, you have a system that's set up to do 100,000, and it's just you're driving a Ferrari that you never get out of third gear. So it's like, what have the Ferrari? So the hand assembly side really helped us scale, just in the fact of when orders were low at the very beginning, just started out, we don't have crews aren't doing anything. So there was always stuff to do. So yeah, the hand assembly side and then the D2C side has really kicked up for us from the last 4 years. So just adding in more accounts, taking care of the D2C customers that we have, really building out that relationship side, because the best customer is a customer you never lose. So we want to keep that relationship really, really good and keep growing that out and just bringing more D2C clients on board.
No, yeah, I think you have the right mindset. I think customer relations and how you take care of the customers is a big thing. I know it's like most companies, as you scale, it gets harder to really cater to, the customer. But I think you guys have the right mindset, at least, if you keep that going there. So we both know the logistics space can be a little crowded. What do you think separates FFE from other 3PLs out there?
One of the biggest things is most 3PLs start out as a brand and they are doing their own e-commerce fulfillment. They're like, okay, get us a warehouse. They get 8,000 square feet when they really only needed 1,500 square feet to do it. Then they're like, all right, I'm paying for all this extra space. We're just doing fulfillment out of this warehouse. We're not doing any of the marketing, any of the videos or anything like that out of that facility. It's just strictly warehousing. So we're just going to start doing it for other e-commerce companies. With us, we started out our two founders. So my dad's been in commercial print for the last 30 years. He just recently retired from there. So he went all the way up through the ranks and did corporate sales forever, and then did the other founder, he's ran 3PLs for the last 30 years as well. So they linked up, their mindsets got together. And then another one of the owners that started up, he's been in the IT side of the logistics world for the last 20 years. So we've had a lot of great knowledge dedicated strictly for this space. And we're not a brand that's going to focus mainly on our stuff. We mainly focus on FFE and the clients that we have in. Yeah,
That's a lot of experience. I mean, it's
absolutely.
also good to have that type of IT experience. You guys are covering all bases when it comes to that.
Correct. Yes.
So just so people know, FFE, like you mentioned, it stands for fun, fast, and easy. So just a look real quick, how did that come about? Like, what did the name? How did that name come about?
Yeah. So our two founders, they got together and they're like, yo, if we're going to do this, it's got to be fun. It's got to be fast. It's got to be easy. I don't want the headache of it. It's just got to be that relationship with our clients, our customers. It's got to be fun. It's got to be fast, and it's got to be easy. It's the main focus of it was pretty much in the words, it's got to be fun, it's got to be fast, and it's got to be easy. Especially in the logistics world, it's a space that's typically not fun. It's a warehouse, it's just boxes and tapes and nothing too crazy there. So, and the fast side of it, you got to make sure we're fulfilling orders quickly, making sure communication happens rapidly and that sort of stuff. And then the easy aspect is on the, hey, you used to send us 10,000 orders and we ship out 10,000 orders, and you don't hear about it from the customers. You don't hear about it from anyone. It's just, it's done. It's easy. So that's kind of where FFE came together.
No, I like it. It's unique and genuine. You know, some people like try too hard with the names sometimes, but that's a unique one that I've never heard of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
So you guys offer a little, I guess, from warehousing to kitting, order fulfillment. How do you stay efficient without losing, that personalized service?
Yeah, so we kind of keep in the range of the clients that we bring on. Like we're really good in like beauty brands and supplements and kind of like outdoorsy gear, but we're very good on the hand assembly side. That is a component to like also like subscription boxes. So for we'll create out their operating procedures of just saying, hey, for this client, for this kit, it's a form on all the kitting side of things. It just says, all right, here's all the components you need for the kit. And then it'll have like a written outline of saying, all right, you're going to build out 20 of them. Here's how you build out the kit. And then we'll also have a barcode at the bottom that you can actually scan and actually see how the kit is put together. So the consistency is always there. That way, the nice thing is that from the hand assembly days, we took over all of our top kitters and all of our leads over to the fulfillment side. So they always already understood what they're going to have to be doing for that. So every client's different, but every client can also fit in an umbrella of other clients. So we kind of specialize in those areas. So it just rolls pretty
So do you
quickly.
think that personalization is something clients are actively asking for, now more than ever, I guess?
Depending on the brand. So some brands that they have 4 items, there's really not much customization for them. Even if they are going to do a bundle, we'll take 2 of the products, shrink wrap them together, and that's pretty much all of the customization, personalization for them that they are needing. So it just varies on what they're after, what they're wanting. But yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's go into some industry trends. Everything's changing nowadays in logistics. It changes fast, it changes often, but what major shifts are you seeing in 3PL and just fulfillment industries right now in general?
There's been a huge shift in carriers as far as, all right, this service used to be really good. Now it's not anymore. This service used to get really good rates, and now the rates are up. That's been a huge shift, especially with tariffs going on. There's been a delay of getting in product. There's been a delay of shipping out product at borders where it's getting held up. Now you're paying a little bit more. So that's kind of been the big shifts in the warehousing world. It's just service providers just moving around a little bit on those. So that's been a huge shift I've seen.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people in logistics are dealing with that. It's hard on everybody, especially the whole tariffs things. Everybody's kind of, I guess, playing it by ear now. So, kind of that goes like customer expectations. Do you think faster shipping, better tracking, or more flexibility like impact how you guys operate now?
Well, when we bring them on, they have 24 hours for us to fill a D2C order, and then 48 hours for like a B2B retail order, wholesale order, just saying, hey, this is the expectation of when we want it out, and then we just kind of match what they're experiencing and expecting on that. So
Okay, so that, sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. Go for it.
So that's just as soon as you onboard them, that's usually the standard, what you guys try to do, the agreement.
Correct, yes.
Okay. A lot of brands are trying to, I guess, balance cost with customer experience. How do you guys help them find that middle ground? I know, again, going back to the way the atmosphere is today and everything, it's kind of crazy. So how do you guys do that for them?
Yes, for that is, it's a matter of care, I would say. So it's like, yeah, you can do these 5 steps. You can add in a card. You can add in tying a bow on it. You can tie a ribbon. You can add confetti in there if you want. You can do the pillows. You can do whatever you want. But most of the time, if you know your customers aren't really looking for that, it's just kind of a waste and it's just an extra cost. Yeah, the presentation may be a little bit nicer, but how much does your customer really care that it has a bow on it? That sort of thing comes in. But yeah, for the most part, I always recommend, just like, if you are going to do anything custom, do like a custom box or a custom envelope. That's kind of like the main things where, this is, I ordered this last week and now it's here. And you kind of see that side of it.
Yeah, so pretty much putting it where it would matter the most, where it would make the most impact.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think you would probably agree that I think smaller 3PLs, you guys probably have an edge over like massive players like Amazon and stuff like that when it comes to client relationships, because you guys can, I guess, tend to customers in more of a customizable way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a company like Amazon, I mean, they're millions and millions of packages a week. And when you're a client that's only doing, say you're only doing 200 orders a month, and you're just, hey, I'm starting out, this is my brand, I just don't want to package them anymore. And you can just have your small little spot on there and you just get that care. You can call me, you can call our customer service rep that's over your account. So you'll get a dedicated account manager that you can call in and be like, hey, what's going on with this? And then you actually get that quick response time. It's more, you don't have as much going on as far as how big of your operation is going on.
Yeah, true. I also think as technology grows, well, it seems like logistics in general is a little slow to adopt some technologies, but I think as technology grows, it's going to be easier to more consistently and more efficiently customize things for your customers. I guess we're seeing AI automation touch probably almost every part of logistics or most industries, from I guess route optimization to warehouse operations. Where do you think the biggest opportunities for AI could be in the fulfillment space?
I would say it's in the reporting side of it, because a lot of WMSs and 3PLs have some good reporting systems, some not so much. You just don't need as much. With our system, it pulls around 200 reports that generates throughout the month for any one client. So having the AI side of just saying, hey, I want to look at, so say her name's Maria Gonzalez and you don't know anything else about your order. as far as like the client side. And there's like, all right, Maria Gonzalez, she didn't give me an order ID. I'm just going to type in her name. All right. She says she's from Texas. All right. This is the order from Texas. You can click on it. Just get kind of the rapid grab of data from the reporting side. Because sometimes you just want to see, all right, just be able to type in, all right, this SKU, I want to know give me a monthly report on how many times this is shipped. And you just kind of type in it, and then it can pull it up and give it to you. Right now, it's just, you just got to go through your reports and see which ones you want to look at and that sort of thing. But on the reporting side, I see it being a huge advantage for the customer front facing end.
Okay, so as some of those systems that you just mentioned, do you think processes at FFE could see benefiting from maybe automation and predictive tools, or?
Yeah, like the other automation as far as AI we're looking at is kind of like the picking accuracy side of it. So just the monitor of, all right, here's your product. It shows that it has 2 from that location. They pulled 2 from that location, and just kind of that back end security of, hey, yep, we did ship this order correct. If they said, hey, we only got 1, it's like, all right, here's the video. Here's where it shows they grabbed the 1 item. Here's where it shows they grabbed that second item. That sort of thing. And then just like the order accuracy where there's like an overhead scan where the package goes under and it says, all right, on the label, it has their order number on it. So you just scan it and say, all right, it's supposed to have 3 items in it. Yep, it's got 3 items. And then it keeps going on a belt. That sort of automation.
See, when we talk about, I guess it's a little sensitive topic for some people when you talk about AI because they think it's supposed to replace people, I guess, right? But it's like, I don't think, at least me personally, I don't think that the technology would take away the human element in logistics. Of course, it can't. How do you see AI enhancing, I guess, not replacing the people side of what you do?
Yeah, I really don't think there's a whole lot to be replaced as far as AI replacing people in the workspace. You're still going to need your forklift drivers. You can have some robot forklift that'll go, all right, pulling this pallet, load up a truck. But it's still so far out that it's not even close to even being an issue. I mean, as far as taking over, the one job we are looking at is we'll hire a it's like a floor, almost like a giant Roomba, but it's meant for warehouses and large space. So just like the mopping and the cleaning of the floors of the warehouse would be replaced. But other than that, it'll just enhance checks. I see it more enhancing the people that are operating in the space. It's kind of like a trade almost, where it's like, yeah, you can have a bricklayer, but a machine that lays your bricks, it's just not the same. So you can't really replace it just yet on that.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a while before anything like that happens. But there is a lot of cool people in the space of kind of like you were mentioning those robots. There's a lot of robots that I've seen that can do like picking and packing or moving things around the warehouse. There's a lot of cool stuff happening there when it comes to AI, like automated robots. So in the future, I would say probably within the next 5 to 10 years, long term is probably going to get a lot more crazy. But let's say 6 to 12 months. What do you think that looks like for FFE? Any big goals or initiatives you guys are, excited about?
Yeah, so we are moving into a new space right now. The new space is just a little over 200,000 square feet. It'll be a pretty big jump for us. We're currently in just under 80,000 square feet, so almost two and a
More
half.
than double.
Yeah, so we're doubling our size. That's super exciting for us. We'll finish out fourth quarter here, do Black Friday, Cyber Monday out of here, and then once December comes along, we'll start moving all of our conveyors and we'll start moving all the rest of the racking over. Right now, we're lucky in the sense that we kind of got a breakaway lease at our new space, so we already have the first wave of racking set up over there. We already have some customers doing their fulfillment and storage out of there. So we've been slowly able to move in, which has been a blessing because that's going from, all right, we're here now, we got to move everything over right now.
Yeah.
That's always a huge undertaking. But we're also adding in a couple new automations as far as the picking side goes that we're super excited about. Just a new process of how we do our our pick pack side of the business. So
No,
just
that sounds really exciting. I mean, that's a huge jump, and the fact that you guys can do it in stages or slowly like that, I'm sure is a lot less stressful because, like you said, going from that to that is a big difference. So let's say maybe a few years out. So now instead of 6 to 12 months, maybe a few years down the road, what would success look like for you and for FF?
yeah, we're gonna branch off and have a couple other different companies that kind of support FFE that just kind of ties everything in to FFE as far as the fulfillment side. As far as the future goes, I got to fill up that building in the next year or two, so that'll be my main goal for then 4 years from now, in the next 2 to 4, we'll be setting up a East Coast location. That's still, like I said, 2 4 years down the line, but we really wanted to create such a great West Coast fulfillment center just because West Coast, they're really, I mean, the volume on West Coast to East Coast is tremendous, but if you can have a really good West Coast setup, that way when we move over to the East Coast in the next 2 to 4 years, it's okay, yes, we can do your fulfillment in the East Coast. And then on the West Coast side, we already are established there as a predominant 3PL on the west side of the US.
Oh, that's another good idea because I mean it's coast to coast coverage. You guys be able to get things faster, to people on the other side of the country. This is would be a good one. I think what I want to know is what is one piece of advice you could give to someone trying to break into logistics? What would it be?
Know that it's going to be a long road ahead of you, and that some days you're going to be sitting there saying, "What the hell am I doing here?" Like, it's going to be a lot of what the hells, and that just keep going, keep improving your processes along the way. That when you do make a mistake, don't just kind of push those mistakes to the side, really regroup, figure out a way to make sure those mistakes aren't happening again. So you keep good, cool quality work going as you continue to grow. But yeah, just know that you just got to keep pushing in. There's going to be a lot of what the hells along the way. So,
I think that's in any industry, right? I mean, especially
right.
when you grow and scale, it's a grind sometimes. But let me see. So I know you had a little bit of a bunch of leadership experience before getting to this position and now currently in this position. But let's say, so kind of going off the same note, what would you give, I guess, leadership advice to someone? Maybe not necessarily just in logistics, but just getting into, entrepreneurship, launching their own business. Do you have any leadership experience for those people?
Yeah, I would say remember that everyone is a person and an individual. Yes, you are in charge of them, but at the end of the day, this is the business side of life, and people have the personal side of life, and you got to make sure you're monitoring that and checking in with that. Some people could be having a bad day just because of something outside of the office and not necessarily a part of the work office. So, how can you make your work office a better place for people to be instead of how to make it more profitable for you? Yeah, you can have profitabilities go up, but if your crews aren't liking the changes, you're adding in an extra shift, you're always having them push the numbers up, saying, hey, you got to build 100 an hour now. To increase our profits, you're going to have to build 150 an hour, which then leads to them either burning out or saying, screw this, I'm out. So you got to remember the personal side of your employees and your crews, so that way they can still feel like they're contributing and being a part of something that you're building.
Yeah, that's a solid takeaway. I think that's overlooked in a lot of industries. When people get in leadership positions, they just want to be like, hey, do this and do that. They think it's telling people what to do, but there's a lot more that's, I guess, included in being a leader, which a lot of people, don't have the full picture. Looking after your employees is big. You want them to come to work every day and want to work for you and feel like they're valued, which it seems like a lot of companies don't do nowadays. There's a lot of, I guess, unhappy employees. So I
Absolutely.
love the fact that you guys, yeah, you have that mindset. That's the great leadership trait for sure. Well, Brynden, thank you for joining me today. I think there was a lot of good insights here. I appreciate you sharing your story about FFE and how you guys are approaching fulfillment differently. So before we wrap up, where can people connect with you or learn more about FFE?
Yeah, LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn, just Brynden King. you'll see FFE Solutions Group. You can call us at 980-0750. Just say, hey, heard the podcast, want to reach out to Brynden and get a quote or whatever. And then you can also email me at btking@ffesg.com.
All right, guys, you heard it there. For everyone listening, stay tuned. We got a lot more conversations coming with leaders who are helping redefine what's possible in logistics and the supply chain. Till next time.
Thank you.